Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Elon Musk and Trump together in the Oval Office. I'm going to give you the highlights. I'm sure you must have at least heard a little bit about what's going on. I got a list of stuff that I think is the most important. We're going to talk about auditing politicians, which thank God. We're going to talk about people getting Social Security until an obscene age, people retiring from the government, which needs to happen. But I think we realize now why it's not. No one voted for Elon, that whole thing. CNN gives their take on this whole thing, which of course you're going to see is always well balanced. And Elon Musk being questioned about his own transparency, and Trump gets into how bad things are. Let's jump right into this thing with the first clip. We're starting with auditing politicians, finally.
If we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense. But if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, like, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about $30 million?
Right.
Etc.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, if you look at, say Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place, that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment categorization code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So you can't reconcile blank checks. You've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly absurd, a do not pay list, which can take up to a year for an organization to get on a do not pay list. And this, we're talking about terrorist organizations, we're talking about known fraudsters, known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation, can take up to a year to get on the list, and even once on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing.
This is wild. Terrorist organizations on the list. You can't just take them off right away. It's like, this is going to take 1 year. Can we stop paying the Taliban? Yeah, 11 months from now. So, just take it for what it's worth. Like, what? Oh, man. Just some of the functions in government are just so silly. But, I mean, let's go to the main thing. And I'm not going to just skirt by, possibly financing organizations to that degree. But, I mean, I've been waiting a long time for the auditing of politicians. This should be happening all the time with all of them, not just the ones that are super rich, but of course, especially the ones that are super rich. Now, when he was talking about investing, we all know who he's talking about. Allegedly, maybe, potentially, everyone knows that Nancy Buffett is a beast when it comes to the stock market. I don't know why. Maybe it's a hobby. Some people in their 80s take up knitting. You know, they take it up in their 60s. They get real good at it by the time they're in their 80s. They're making blankets left and right for the grandkids. Nancy, she's like, bump all that. I'm focusing in on the stock market. I'd love to see how she does in the crypto market as well. She must be just destroying. You don't even know. She could have a crypto wallet that has $500 million in it. You would never know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's the case. But if she's good at one, she'd be great at the other. That's all I'm saying. So, of course, annual salary, $223 a year. Net worth, $202 million. I've heard it's actually 220, but we'll just go with that for now. When it comes to the annual salary, it wasn't always $223,000. She actually started out at I believe, $160,000 when she first started out. I mean, she's been in the government for a long time, right? She's watched these raises come and go. But, you know, there's also Mitch McConnell, $200,000, $95 million net worth. There's Chuck Schumer, $210,000, $75 million worth. There's Elizabeth Warren. This I've heard varying statements about this. I heard 30 million. I'm seeing 67 million here. Elizabeth Warren. Why is Elizabeth Warren getting paid more than Nancy Pelosi? Hold on. Am I seeing that right? I am seeing that right. Why would she be getting paid more? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense just on the sheer fact that I feel like Nancy would be like, bump me up past Elizabeth. I'm not playing this game. Okay, Elizabeth's a young lady compared to me. Okay, let's get this on and popping here. Who's a billionaire? Wait a second. Oh yeah, Doug. Doug's a billionaire. Isn't Doug a billionaire? Let's see here. So then we got other people. Yeah, Doug's a billionaire. Yep, Jim Justice. Doug obviously just started working for the government. Rick Scott, 300 million. Mitt Romney, 300 million. Now these are all these numbers are give and take because I've seen more and I've seen less in regards to these people. But yeah, where is all this money coming from? How did it happen? I can't wait to hear the answers. I can't wait to hear the answers. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Nancy Pelosi's just going to be like, stock market. Stock market, what's it to you? Everybody else is going to have to explain. It's known. There's websites dedicated to following Nancy Pelosi's trades. So we all get that. You know what I mean? Like that might be she might be the one that gets by everybody. She's going to be like, I'm good at stocks. What do you want? Me and my husband, we sit down, we crunch numbers, we look at charts. We know what we're doing. Everybody else, like Chuck Schumer, what talent does he have? Isn't that the guy that was grilling raw beef? Didn't he have a raw burger and he had cheese on it? How did that guy get, 75 mil? How is he there? Mitch McConnell. What does he do? 95 million? What? Man, I can't wait for these people to get audited and see where the money came from. You know, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I don't know what else to say. Now, I don't know who Trump is referring to when it comes to this $30 million woman. He asked Elon to mention this person, but Elon didn't. I've heard Trump also in another clip mention this woman that made $30 million. I don't know. I thought he was talking about Elizabeth Warren. As far as I can see, there's been nothing that popped up that said she's recently made 30 million from any organization. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know who this person is. I can't wait to find out. Trump has brought it up at least 4 different times, 4 different occasions. So he's really like a hawk on this person. Whoever this is, you're going to have trouble. And then just to the fact that they're just handing out blank checks. Isn't it crazy? Don't you ever wonder where your blank check is? Wouldn't that be nice? You know what I mean? You're working for hours every day, 12 hours a day. I was doing Uber Eats for 14 hours a day at one point. Where's my blank check? Just one. Jeez, it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's move on here. We got people getting Social Security up until a crazy age, and then people retiring. Check this out. This is people are acting like this is just crazy. I think there's an occultist vibe to this whole thing about people retiring. It's very weird. I'll show you in a second. Let's go.
and there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't know. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's a case where, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there's a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, why is there no identifying information? Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. I'll tell you another crazy thing. So, one of the things is we are trying to sort of right-size the federal bureaucracy, just make sure that this, obviously there need to be a lot of people working for the federal government, but not as many as currently. So we're saying, if people can retire, with full benefits and everything, that would be good. They can retire, get their retirement payments and everything. And then we were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we were told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And what do you mean a mine? There's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we take those people and say, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else, and you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, so I think that's an example. At a high level, if you say
that's incredible, and the mind, he's not kidding. This is it. This is real. It's real. It's a real mind. Iron Mountain. Listen, this is the part that I'm saying sounds kind of occultist. It's a limestone mine. And only then can you retire from the federal government, when we put your papers inside the mine, just so. Lay them about. The elevator must have been broken for a while. That's why Mitch McConnell's in a wheelchair now. Mitch is like, can I please retire? They're like, elevator's broken, buddy. I'm sorry. Get him in a wheelchair and get him on in there. Remember, vote no on Tulsi Gabbard. All right, guys. Nancy, you good? You got a walker? Okay, go ahead. No, elevator's broken. Elevator's broken. Sorry. That's why that lady, I forget what her name was, she passed away, rest in peace, but she was pretty much voting up until her last day on Earth. She was unaware of what was going on, and they're like, her assistants are beside her, which is crazy. And they're like, vote yes. You say yes. And she's like, what? Huh? What? Yes. Yay. It's crazy. That's why, because the elevator's broken. They're like, let me go. Mitch McConnell's like, release my soul. Allow my soul to leave. I care not where it goes. Above or below, it does not matter. Release me. Elevator's broken, bud. Sorry. Just a lizard person standing at the mine shaft. Elevator's broken, guys. Sorry. We're not releasing any souls today. Either way, it's fine. Most of you are going to hell anyway, so this is pretty much the same thing, right? So just go ahead. Head on in there. Say hi to Elon for me. Guy's not returning my calls anymore since he started working with Trump. Lizard people upset at Elon, Holy, it's such a weird thing. So only so many people can retire. People receiving social insurance until they're 150 years old. If you wanted to be the most charitable about that little tidbit, you would say, somebody's dad, like Mr. Johnson passes away, but his son, who's also Mr. Johnson, is like, they still send the checks, I'm not going to tell anybody, my dad would have wanted it this way. He didn't leave me much in his will because he didn't have much. I'll collect it, Can you imagine your dad passes away at like 70 and then you start collecting checks until you're 70. Wow. That's the most charitable scenario. Another scenario is they're just saying somebody's collecting money up until that age and something else is happening with it. Just saying. I'm not putting it on anybody, but something's going on there. But yeah, all of it just sounds so weird. I mean, this is the actual mind. And they go in there with your files. Bring my files to the mine. He's retiring. It's time to bring his files to the mine. Oh, it'll be a good day when I finally get my papers to the mine shaft. You just got some old, decrepit guy in there. I've been alive for 500 years. I've met George Washington. You'll not retire unless I say so. These are the dumb things I got bouncing around in my head, guys. Let's move on. No one voted for Elon. There's that whole aspect of things as well. Listen to this.
Everyone's very quiet. Are people normally this quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
What?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted. We have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House. We won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are, in effect, policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization. And the kind of things we're doing are, I think, very, very simple and basic. They're not, what I mentioned, for example, about Treasury, just making sure that payments that go out, taxpayer money that goes out, is categorized correctly, that the payment is explained, that organizations on the do not pay list, which takes a lot to get there, that actually are not paid, which currently they are paid. These are not individual judgment decisions. These are about simply having sensible checks and balances in the system itself to ensure that taxpayer money is spent well. So it's got nothing to do with, like, say, a contract for some company of mine at all.
But if there is a conflict in...
Man, this guy sounds like my new accountant explaining to me that I have to, like, keep receipts. Like, just explaining basic things to me because I have no idea how any of that works. And he's just like, yeah, so... obviously, you have to pay taxes. And I'm like, you serious? Yeah, it's not just a blank check. And you have to keep your expenses. And you have to tell us how much you made here and there. So we have to... and I'm like, what is all this? What, are you attacking me? This sounds like you're trying to take over my business. Oh, man, the people who say they didn't vote for Elon. Literally, Donald Trump explaining to you what he's going to do with Elon before he was elected president.
Suggestion of...
oh, the one video I didn't have at the proper speed. I'm telling you guys, I'm getting better at it, though.
the suggestion of Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice. Smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. It's very, very much appreciated. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. The suggestion.
Trump, because I've been hearing this argument for so long, and even more so since this whole thing has happened, that they sat down in the Oval Office together like this. Like, people are like, they didn't vote for, no one voted for Elon. Elon was on the campaign trail, jumping up and down with both hands in the air. Like, what? What are you talking about? Are you serious? They sat down together and he said, I would like for you to do something with efficiency. I see how you run companies. I saw what you did there. I would like for you to do something like that for the government. And Elon was like, what? Yeah, I'll do that. Of course I'll do that. Yes, sir. I don't, what's Elon doing? Whoa. And this is an impression of people, they're just Democrats, literal people in the government who are like, whoa. That face right there, okay? Don't argue with Aunt Barbara. Don't argue with Uncle Jake, okay? Don't do that, right? When somebody brings up the whole, a coworker, when somebody brings up the I didn't vote for Elon, just screenshot this face. Screenshot it, okay? Just screenshot that face, keep it on your phone, and when somebody says that, you show them the picture and you say, that's you. That's you. That's what you say. And then you just leave it at that, okay? We're not getting mad at these people anymore. This is getting ridiculous now, okay? All right, now we're going to hear CNN's take on this whole thing because CNN feels like this is really odd what's going on. Do I have this on double speed? Come on. No, I didn't. Wow. Let's go.
Who was the one standing, taking most of the questions, having the president in this odd, jarring setting, looking up to him? Well, it was Elon. This was Musk's first press conference since Trump's election, and he took over. Trump literally, in all these images, kind of looked like he'd been pushed off to the side because Elon was the center of it. I mean, at times, Trump seemed annoyed. I mean, it wasn't just that Musk dominated. He did speak for about 20 of the 32 minutes. So about 63.5% if you're counting of the time. It was that Musk physically owned the entire event. He and his child were the center of the attention.
63.5% if you're counting at the time. What? Oh my gosh. A woman who's been banned from Russia for spreading too much propaganda around the world. Isn't that interesting? Wow. Just amazing. Her name's Erin Burnett. She's top necessary evil at CNN, even above Anderson Cooper. It's ridiculous the way she thinks. And it's odd. Elon standing up, taking questions, answering things, and Donald Trump sitting down. That's so weird. That never happens.
You're great again, right? That's what we care about.
Oh.
Okay. Here we go.
Wait, it does happen. Oh, well. This just threw me for a loop here. Is that President Trump sitting down? Oh, man.
So this is a famous pen now.
Guess what happens
and
next?
We'll put it with something. I'll ask you to do whatever you think we should do with it, Mr. Secretary. Do you want to talk about, Doug, Secretary of the Interior, and also working with Chris Wright on extracting vast amounts of oil and gas and making our country rich? Would you like to say something, Bill?
Well, with the Gulf of America, this is a historic day. We want to thank President.
I'm going to be the CNN person now. It's just odd. I mean, it seems like President Trump is pushed over to the side here, and he's the one talking. I mean, it's just odd. I didn't vote for Doug. I didn't vote for any Secretary of the Interior. What is this? He's dominating. He's standing over Donald Trump. Yeah. That's what happens. When the president's in the room, he gets to sit. Everyone stands, and when he tells you to speak, you do until he tells you to stop. That's how it works. Sorry, I had to introduce CNN to how being a president works, as if when Biden's in the Oval Office, he was just standing up tall with his knee on a chair like, what's going on, guys? The guy was asleep half the time. He got Blinken working his jaw like this. Hi, everybody. Hi. My name's Joseph Biden. I'm from Scranton. Prince of Scranton. Yes. No, I'll sign it. They have him sign things like this. President Biden signing this executive order. Oh, man. You got to love CNN. Man. And let's just take a quick break just to listen to a really nice song. Here you go.
What are you on? We'll fight against Doge. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Just wanted to share that with you guys really quick. Okay. They can't meme the left. They can't make proper songs that are fun. Everything is just this type of stuff. It's so ridiculous. Oh, a song about throwing Elon Musk in jail because he uncovered almost $1 trillion in government waste. Isn't that weird? The fact that, because this is actually hosted by Democrats and there's like a whole bunch of them on the stage and they all talk. But the fact that they can get regular people to go along with this is so wild, You would think if they had this kind of power to make regular people go along with these things, that they would have won. It's weird that they didn't win. Isn't that odd? Like, you have this type of mind control. I guess it takes a special kind of person, If you screenshot that picture, that would be the type of person that this is, to get hoodwinked like this by the Democratic Party. But, I don't know, man. Just a fun song for you guys. Let's move on. We're going to go to Elon in question, and then Trump gets into how bad things really are. Let's go.
Our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say, like, wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately.
Including you yourself.
Yes. But transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And then you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area if we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watch that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this. Now, one thing also that Elon hasn't really mentioned are the groups of people that are getting some of these payments. They're ridiculous. And we're talking about billions of dollars that we've already found. We found fraud and abuse. I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use, but in this case, fraud and abuse. It's abusive because most of these things are virtually made up, or certainly money shouldn't be sent to them. And you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. So, but we're talking about tens of billions of dollars that we've already found. And now a judge who's an activist judge wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? Why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish. As an example, a man has a contract for 3 months and the contract ends, but they keep paying him for the next 20 years, because nobody ends a contract. You get a lot of that. You have a contract that's a 3-month contract. Now, normally, if you're in a small, in all fairness, it's the size of this thing is so big. Yeah. But if you have a contract and you're in a regular business, you end the contract in 3 months. It's a consultant. Here's a contract for 3 months, but it goes on for 20 years. And the guy doesn't say that he got money for 20 years, They don't say it. They just keep getting checks month after month. And you have various things like that. And even much worse than that, actually, much worse. And I guess you call that incompetence, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be corruption. It could be deals made on both sides, where the guy gets the money, he kicks. I think there's a lot of kickback here. I see a lot of kickback here.
There's a lot of kickbacks.
Tremendous kickback, because nobody could be so stupid to give out some of these contracts. So he has to get a kickback. So that's what I got elected for, that and borders and military and a lot of things, but this is a big part of it. And I hope that the court system is going to allow us to do what we have to do. We got elected to among other things, find all of this fraud, abuse, all of this horrible stuff going on. And we've already found billions of dollars, not like a little bit, billions, many billions of dollars. And when you get down to it, it's going to be probably close to $1 trillion. It could be close to $1 trillion that we're going to find. That will have quite an impact on the budget. And you'll go to a judge where they handpick a judge, and he has certain leanings. I'm not knocking anybody for that, but he has certain leanings. And he wants us to stop looking. How do you stop looking? I mean, we've already found it. We have a case in New York where a hotel has paid $59 million, $59 million because it's housing migrants, illegal migrants, all illegal, I believe.
And they were being paid twice the normal room rate at 100% occupancy.
Unbelievable.
So it's a racket.
Mr. Musk, can I ask you a question?
Well, if I may sort of just going for the president's comments, at a high level, you say, what are the two ingredients that are really necessary in order to cut the budget deficit in half from $2 trillion to $1 trillion? And it's really two things: competence and caring. And if you add competence and caring, you'll cut the budget deficit in half. And I fully expect to be scrutinized and get a daily proctology exam, basically. Might as well just camp out there. So it's not like I think I can get away with something. I'll be scrutinized nonstop. But with the support of the president, we can cut the budget deficit in half from $2 trillion to $1 trillion, and then with deregulation, because there's a lot of sort of regulations that don't ultimately serve the public good. We need to free the builders of America to build. And if we do that, that means I think we can get the economic growth to be maybe 3-4%, maybe 5%. And that means if you can get $1 trillion of economic growth and you cut the budget deficit by $1 trillion, between now and next year, there is no inflation. There's no inflation in 26. And if the government is not borrowing as much, it means that interest costs decline. So everyone's, the mortgage, their car payment, their credit card bills, anything, their student debt, the monthly payments drop. That's a fantastic scenario.
CNN's going to frame MSNBC. Joy Reid's going to be like, they're trying to save you money so you go and buy Elon's Teslas. That's all this is. They just want you to have enough money to go buy one of his Teslas and stay in one of Donald Trump's premium hotel rooms. That's all this is. Be clear. That money you're saving is blood money. And then you're literally going to see Democrats. This is the money that Trump saved me. I don't want this blood money. Trump saved me $5,000 this year. I'm going to burn it all. I don't need this blood money. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's not even out of the realm of possibility. MSNBC, CNN could just report things like that and say that the money that you're saving is actually evil and that you're participating in Trump's evil plan, Elon's evil plan, and you should get rid of that money. They're going to be like, you should donate it to us, or you can get rid of it the old-fashioned way. People are just going to be lighting it up. Like, oh, burn this. I don't want this Elon money. I want inflation back. There's going to be people protesting. We want 10% inflation, and we want it now. I don't want to be a part of this corrupt system that they formed. I want my corruption back. Chuck Schumer's going to be leading the chant. We want corruption back. Yeah. None of that's impossible. I mean, 5 years ago, you would have been like, this guy is talking crazy. This year, that's possible in the next 3 months, the way that they're going. They're trying to get Elon put in jail. Like, that's what's happening right now. They're like trying to sue. Letitia James is like, we're suing. I'm going to protect the people of New York. I'm suing. I'm going to protect your personal data. Trump's like, there's kickbacks. There's someone taking kickbacks. We're going to find it. They're like, oh, they must be attacking. They must be attacking the people. We're going to save you guys. Yeah. Saving yourself. That's what's really going on there. But yeah, very interesting, the last part there. Trump really sticking to his guns about there being possible kickbacks, and they both seem very sure of it. I would love to see what comes of that, if there's going to be true accountability or if it's just going to be people getting fired. I wonder. You know, contracts that go on for 20 years and the person's no longer working for the government. All that sounds very possible. I just wonder what they're actually going to do about it. Like right now we're at a stage where they're closing the offices. They're closing the doors of places until they can examine and understand exactly what's going on and keep the good things going and stop the bad things. But what happens when you actually start to encounter the people that are doing these unscrupulous things? What do they do at that point? I'm really wondering what's going to happen there, because right now we're at a point where they're protesting Elon, they're protesting Trump. You know, they have people in the streets, they're rounding them up, they're riling them up, and this is just over them finding waste and finding abuse. What happens when they actually find people? How far are the Democrats willing to go in terms of riling people up? You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's pretty much everything that you need to know in regards to this whole thing. And I hope you had fun along the way. You know what I mean? With my ramblings, my crazy ramblings. But this is all very exciting, I have to say. And we'll see, you know, and I like the fact that people should be worried about Elon. He does have businesses and he could benefit from some of the things he's doing. And if he does, then we should all call it out, obviously. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't we? I'm still, you know, I love what Elon's doing, but I still know that he's putting chips in people's brains. That hasn't gone away for me. I know he's still doing it. I haven't seen any regular people getting them, but I know he has the technology, so I'm still, you know, you still got to watch, because I don't care how much waste you cut and save. If you're putting chips in people's brains, you got to watch out for that guy. You know, rockets are fine. You said you want to send some people to Mars? Okay. Putting chips in people's brains. I gotta watch you close. You know what I mean? Make sure he doesn't chip Trump, you know? But you know, you don't live in the tinfoil realm. You put your tinfoil Speedo on one leg at a time, just like everybody else, and you watch for Elon putting chips in people's brains. And as long as he's doing good things, you hang back. The second he's like, oh, this is a regular guy that just wants a chip in his brain because he wants to be able to, okay, everything stops. And we start to question a little more, you know. Until that time, though, solid work. Putting in some solid work. I like it. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.